Hello, boys and girls. How are you guys doing? I am super duper excited. Yes, I am fangirl, and I get to hang out with Piper Huguley on today, guys. And we're talking about her brand new latest release by her design, Boys and Girls. Oh my goodness. Piper, I am super duper excited about this book. I think from the time you did the cover reveal, all of that good stuff. But before we get into it, introduce yourself to those who may not know you.
Thank you so much for having me today, Angela. I'm Piper Huguley, and I am a historical fiction novelist of Black folks who need their voices uplifted. So that is what I do. Hello, Ursula. I love that name. I might have to use that in a story.
Mm, I love that. I love that.
I collect them old timey names. I love that.
I love that. I love
Welcome.
that. Hello, Jennifer. Thank you so much for joining us,
Hi,
guys.
Jennifer.
Let me tell you, stop what you're doing, like, tag, and share. Tell a friend to hop over to the cafe because Piper Hughley is hanging out with us, guys. And this is just a special treat indeed. Oh, my goodness, guys. I was just telling Piper that I just fell in love with this when she did the cover reveal, when she started announcing that she was going to do this story, all of that good stuff. And so, Piper, before we get into it, let's talk about this cover a little bit. Let's
Okay.
talk about this cover. Tell us about
Girl,
it.
9 times.
Wow. Wow. Now, did you kind of give them a descriptive of what you wanted? Like,
I
what was.
tried in so many ways to tell them what I wanted, and this was not you've interviewed so many other authors. I'm sure they've told you that authors a lot of the time they have to take what they get
Mhm.
and that they have to just acquiesce to whatever the marketing team says and all this other kind of stuff. But girl, and sometimes I know that one or two authors, not as a regular thing, but one or two authors have had it written into their contract that they should get cover approval, but that is not typical. But
Okay.
I just insisted, and my editor had several go rounds she didn't like. She thought it was too nonfiction looking. And then they started showing me stuff, and I was like, do I have to go up to New York and draw some stick figures to show you what I mean? And finally, hey Tammy.
Hey, Tammy. Thank you for joining us.
And finally, um, they sent me 4 or 5 covers, and this was one among the covers. And even though it was like 5 of them, the other 4 were really nice too. And I almost seemed like I should be able to use them in marketing efforts. But it was this cover that had her centered, which is what I wanted. So,
Yes, yes. And I love, for me, once you've read the book, if you haven't read the book yet, for me, this cover, once you read the book, this cover like speaks volumes, or what have you for this. And so, also, I wanted to talk about the title by her own design. Oh my goodness, a novel of Anne Lowe. Please tell us about that title. Same thing. Did you submit several titles, or when you got this one, you was like, this is it. Tell us about the title.
I wrote this entire book, my first time out of my dozen or so books, that I've written a book without a title. I usually am very good at that, and usually whenever I would have publisher titles, people they would like what I suggested and all of that other kind of stuff. This was the first time I had no title. I signed the contract as Untitled and Low Project. So this was
Wow.
my agent who started the ball rolling. So I guess she earned her 15%. She said by design, and then it was marketing folk who had it by her design, and it's by her own design. Finally, as it came up, so I was very grateful. And then the subtitle had several iterations as well. So I'm glad with what they finally came up with. So
I love that. I love
mhm.
that. Boys and girls, if you're just joining us, okay, I probably have not stopped smiling since Piper and I have got on. Piper, I just want to tell you, I absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. I don't know if you've read any of my reviews on this particular book, but let me just say,
Oh,
ma'am, you laid it all on the pages. One thing that I definitely want to share with you is that one of the things that I wrote in several of my reviews is that Ann Lowe, based on what I've read from
Mhm.
your book, and after I read it, so you'll know, I wanted to find everything I could on her. Let me just
That's
tell
what
you
historical fiction's all about. So good for you.
yes,
Yes, you did that.
exactly. Well, you did that, and if like I said, if you guys have read this book, this amazing book that Piper did, um, Angela was kind of soft spoken. I mean, sometimes she would allow her voice to be heard when she needed to, but
Mhm.
Piper, even the nonverbal, my friend, had
Mhm.
a voice that was loud
Mhm.
and clear. And
Mhm.
when I got that from this book, I said, this is biographical, historical fiction at its finest. You
Oh,
did that, my
I'm
friend.
so
I'm
honored. I
telling you.
really
So I wanted
am.
to personally let you know that it's different to read that on the pages, but I wanted you to hear me say that.
I really
This book is
appreciate
just
that.
amazing. So
Thank you so
well,
much.
we're gonna get into it because guys,
Okay.
I'm saying I could gloat about this book like just for hours or what have you. If not, just follow me on Facebook, Instagram. You'll see all my million posts about this book. Okay, telling everybody to go read it. So, Piper, tell me what inspired you to do Anne Lowe's story. Like, when did you know that this story had to be told, and you had to be the one, my friend, to tell it?
Twitter. I've been looking for a long time to make my move into what I call phase two of my writing career, to go from historical romance into biographical historical fiction. I've been lining up subjects for many years in terms of that, and I was just hanging out on Twitter one night, as I do, and my editor retweeted an article about Anne Lowe and said, "Who will write this novel for me?" And I knew who Anne Lowe was. I knew in the back of my mind, I'm the nerdy child of two fashionistas. So I knew who Anne Lowe was, but I didn't know much about her. So I read the article, and then I went online and read some more of what was there. And that's when I knew. I was like, this is a novel. And right away, I let my agent know first, because she had picked me up trying to get a project together with me. And she might have been getting frustrated for all I knew, because she was like, I done told this girl what to write, and she yeah. But I was like, look, this might be a contract here, And so she was like, yes, go for it. So I immediately wrote the prologue, which much of the prologue is what I wrote. And had her send it off to Tessa and say, lock this down. I'm on it. Don't. And I knew Tessa from other conferences and stuff, and
Uh
she
huh.
she rejected some of my other ideas, so I knew who she was already. So that was
Okay.
that was good. But I said, yeah, lock this down. I'm on it in terms of working on this novel. So.
I love that. I love it. Boys and
Hmm.
girls, if you are just joining us, I am hanging out with the one and only guys, Piper Huguley, on today. We're talking about her latest release, By Her Own Design. And Piper, this book is so special, and you did such an amazing job on it that I could not celebrate you by myself. So you have some friends that gonna come hang out with us for a little bit too, and
What?
share with you how much they enjoyed By Her Own Design. So, okay, the first one, close your eyes.
Uh,
Okay, hold tight. Okay, my friend.
oh, hey, Renee. How you doing?
Oh, hi, Piper. Oh my gosh, I love you so much. I am
I
so
love you
honored to be
too.
here to celebrate
Oh,
you.
there's Sharon. Hi, thank you. You even have it in the background. You're so awesome. I appreciate you stopping by.
I do. I have like, I think I have it in audio. I
She's
have
all
it
like,
in
oh.
print. I have it Kindle. I'm so glad Tessa, this was the one that she said, okay, let's go. I
Hmm.
loved it. And
Yeah.
I've been gushing about Angela knows I had her on my broadcast. I have been gushing. I could gush for an hour about this book. I just
Yes.
love
That's
it.
so nice.
Congratulations. I walked
Thank
into my
you.
Costco the other day and I
Oh, you
just
just.
saw stacks upon stacks. And I'm like, now that's how you do it. I was so excited. And I knew you win. I knew you before you ever
Yeah,
spoke.
yes, you did. You knew me when I was struggling in the wilderness, trying to be heard with my little story. So,
And I think I had my toe in the water, so I was just starting myself. And
mhm.
I'm just, it's been fun sitting back and watching you soar. It's just
Oh,
been
I
so much fun.
appreciate that so much. Thank you so much. I
Yes. So
really,
I
I'm so
have a
glad.
question for you. I'm going to ask you an
Ooh, okay.
awfully writery question. I actually have two.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
do you or don't you like the revision process, and why or why not?
Hmm. Okay, when you say revision process, you have to like think about that in terms of several steps. Like
Mhm.
getting initial feedback on the story in terms of trying to understand what people, particularly readers, feel is good for the story and what's not. That's fine. I don't mind that. What I've had issues with over the years, and people who follow me on Twitter know, are copy edits.
Mm.
So, yeah.
You know what I've
Mm,
discovered about copy
so,
editors? And this, when I finally
what?
figured it out, it helped me to know when to tell them, no, I'm not going with it, or okay.
Hmm.
Copy editors are they're very rigid. They follow all the rules. They have literally no sense of creativity.
Yeah.
And once you figure out that, like, they don't understand hyperbole, they don't understand metaphors and similes. And so I've decided that if it's a grammar issue, but it serves the story, or it's got some hyperbole in it, or they're just very literal as well. So if it's a rigid literal problem, I keep it the way I want. And the other way would be, so that's how I deal with copy edits. If it's a
Okay.
legitimate completely wrong grammarly, then maybe I'll consider it. But for the most part, that's how I deal with it. Is
That makes sense in terms of the grammar stuff. I think for copy edits, it's the historical stuff.
oh, that's frustrating.
So yeah, and that's
You
so
know better
then
than they do.
and so then that's when I have like a little sideshow called historical beatdown because that's like we start but admittedly, by her own design was painless in terms of
Oh,
that.
good.
Yeah. So it really worked out very well, and I had a great editing and revision process with this book.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Okay, last question. What's the best piece of writer advice you've received?
Mm.
Putting you on the spot.
Yes.
It could have been yesterday. It could have been when you were starting out. It could be from your agent.
Yeah. To keep going. That the first thing that you do is not going to be the best thing that you do. I sort of remember one time, I can't remember which, between two projects, when I was like literally writing and typed the end, and then I just opened up a document and began the next one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, okay, this is what it is.
Don't
So
quit. Keep going.
yeah,
I love
don't
it.
quit, keep going. That would be it.
I
Mhm.
love it. Well, I know you have other people coming in. I just wanted to say I am so proud of you. I'm so
Oh,
happy to stand back on the sidelines and root you forward and on. And um, can't wait to hear what's next.
thank you, Renee. I appreciate it.
Thank
Have
you,
a good
Renee.
day. Thank you for coming.
I love it. Piper,
Mhm.
like I said, not just me, there are so many others that are just super duper excited about by her own design as well. And so I'm so glad that when like you said, you saw it first on Twitter or what
Mhm.
have you, and that you brought this story to life. And one of the things that I did want to find out from you is, what was the research like? Because you knew, like you said, you knew Anne Lowe, but what was the research like getting ready for this particular book?
Well, once I found out some of the particulars of her life, it immediately clicked to me that I could figure out who she was because of two reasons. One, I'm a Zora Neale Hurston scholar, and Zora Neale Hurston was born just a couple of counties away from Anne, so I knew all about that. And then my paternal ancestors are from about two counties away in Eastern Alabama. So I knew what she would have potentially sounded like in terms of my ancestors and hearing their voices growing up and stuff. So those two things I feel gave me, I guess, a bit of an advantage, if you will, in
Mhm.
terms of writing her story. So
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah, but the rest of the research process, when I went to go look at on the internet, I knew that a young textile scholar by the name of Margaret Powell had been working on her for a while, as far as her master's projects, and then her master's thesis, which she had pulled together for her graduation in 2016. That I was able to get a hold of that. So Margaret, bless her, had laid a lot of the foundation in terms of those factual ways of looking at her, and how I might be able to fill in the gaps in terms of fiction.
Mhm.
So there was that. And so that's why the book is dedicated to Margaret Powell, who died as a relatively young woman of breast cancer a few years ago. But, she's in the middle of this really great work to get Anlo an exhibit, which will happen next year in Delaware. Yay. And to get a comprehensive scholarly biography. And that's still something that's out there that I hope somebody who reads it will be inspired by, to take up that baton uh, and finish that work.
I love that. I love that. And through your research or what have you, and in writing this story, how would you describe Anne Lowe?
Well, she's clearly a determined person who came with her own goal. One of the things that's very important for writing is for your characters to have a goal, and she had that from the beginning. Like that she never wanted to give up in terms of what it was that she was trying to do, which was, she said on the Mike Douglas show, to prove that a Negro, her wording at the time, could be a fashion designer, and
Mhm.
that everything was pointing to that, and that she sacrificed a lot. But that's why I think this book is for anyone who has a dream, in terms of because that's what it's all about, in terms of the ways in which she had a dream and what she did to attain her dream.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
And it's
mhm.
almost like with you writing her story, you gave her a voice, thinking about
Mhm.
all those things that because even reading the story, she was talented. And the fact
Mhm.
that, there was no two dresses alike. I mean, when you got an Ann Lowe exclusive, you got an
Mhm.
Ann Lowe exclusive. And
Yep.
to think that her designs, her work of art was all up here.
Yep.
Oh my
Yep.
goodness.
Yep. It's
Amazing.
just
Amazing.
totally amazing, and people don't even understand just how amazing that is.
Yeah.
Somebody said to me the other day, it's like, yeah, some of her clients just thought of her as just this Black woman who made dresses. They didn't seem to know what went into her craft.
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I have another special guest for you, my friend. Okay, close your eyes one more
Okay,
time.
close my eyes again. Okay.
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 I'm so excited. Let's see.
Hey,
Okay.
Diva.
Hello, my darling. How are
Oh, I'm
you?
fine. How are you? You're in the great
I'm doing
outdoors.
very well.
Oh, thank you for coming.
Congratulations.
Oh, you're so sweet, Deborah. Oh, looky, she has fun too.
Got one for
Thank you.
Mama and my sister, and
Oh, awesome. I love your mother so hard. So hard. That spirit is partly what informs what I do in terms of that. Your mother is just so emblematic of that spirit of these
oh,
older Black women who just keep going. And I just, yeah.
well,
So I
thank
just,
you,
yes. And I
thank
appreciate
you.
you coming. I just can't believe that you would
There
come.
is no way you could have a book release event and me not pop in to tell you how much I absolutely adore you, what your
Oh,
writing means to me, just how incredibly special I think you are, and
oh.
that everyone needs to buy this book because it's amazing.
Oh,
Amazing.
thank you so much. I'm so touched that you came by,
Oh,
Deborah.
oh, I would not
And
have
it's
missed
been too long since
anything.
we've seen each other in person.
Exactly,
Oh,
exactly. I would
yeah.
not have missed this. Now I'm supposed to
Oh.
ask a question, right?
Yeah.
Okay. As an author,
Mhm.
how do you balance writing what you want to write versus what you have to write with respect to deadlines or other responsibilities?
Well, as I said, and as you probably also know, Deborah, I have a project that's been in the works for several years. That and that's just the way I look at in terms of what I have to do is to sort of lay out a path, and hopefully that path will lead to that particular project down the road. So, um, I still feel like I said that this story is part of my overarching goal in terms of phase two,
Right.
which is to tell the stories of these unsung Black women. So it's not a sidestep; it's still on the path. But the market is the market, and
Well,
people
you
got to
keep
eat.
telling these stories because you do a beautiful job, and
Oh, thank
being able
you.
to share that history, and it's such a learning experience for so many who didn't have a clue, and you just do it so brilliantly, so thank
Mhm.
you.
Oh, thank you so much, Deborah. I appreciate you so
Thank you,
much
Deborah.
for
We
coming.
so appreciate you for stopping by and hanging out with us, my friend.
Always,
I'm so
always,
busy
anytime.
too.
Love
Have
you
a good
both.
day, Diva.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take
Mwah.
care.
I love it, Piper.
I
I'm telling
know.
you,
Oh,
they
this
are
is
just
so nice.
we're
It's
just
really
so
nice of
excited
her to
for
stop
you and
by.
wanted to just love on you and to just express to you how excited, how proud we are of this amazing book. Boys and girls, if you are just joining us, I am hanging out with Piper Huguley on today, guys. We are getting a new release exclusive on By Her Own Design as well. And so, Piper, do you have a little snippet that you can share with us on today?
Guess I do have a little snippet. The
Just
question
look,
is,
Piper, just enough to wet the whistle. Just enough
just
to wet the whistle.
just enough to wet the whistle. I will have a little snippet from the very beginning. So that's usually the easiest part, is to read from the very start
Okay.
of the book. So, okay, let me get to it here. New York City, New York, September 6th, 1953. By the end of my life, I was stone blind because I used up all of my eyesight creating beautiful gowns for the richest women in the social register. However, on this one day, the Sunday before Labor Day in the year of our Lord, 1953, God laid his healing hands on my failing eyes so I could see a sharp cut on a water pipe in the ceiling of my dress shop. Cut wide open, maybe with a hatchet. The pipe that pipe spilled gallons of foul-smelling water onto the floor of the shop I had worked 20 years to open. The eggshell carpet, as well as the olive green gilt chairs my client sat on, got stained a sickening shit brown. When the landlord poked at them, the chairs squished and bubbled suds at the edges of the seats. I might have been able to take that in, but that wasn't the worst. No, the most horrible part was that pipe had opened up over the top of the most important dress commission of my life, the most important dress of the 20th century. The dress belonged to one Jacqueline Bouvier, who was due to marry John F. Kennedy in 6 days' time. The rosettes on the ball gown skirt, my usual flower touch, seized up streaks of brown, and the off the shoulder bodice sagged completely off the shoulders of the headless mannequin. The rest of the dress, saturated with yellow instead of ivory white, made sad sounding drips of wastewater that plopped to my white carpet in a discordant symphony. Is it possible, even for a piddly bird-like little woman like me from small town Clayton, Alabama, to have a lower moment? The Almighty himself put the thought in my mind. The water pipe that dumped all of that stink into my shop didn't burst all by itself. Only now I cast my poor eyesight down to my trusty step stool, turned topsy-turvy behind the mannequin in someone's haste to leave my life in a mess. Sally, my older sister, said the words that trailed across my mind like a dress scene. Who hate you enough to do this, Annie? Sally loved me so well she couldn't see it, but even if I had my poor eyesight days, I saw it. I knew of a handful of people who had enough red hot demon hate for me in their blood that they would relish to see me fall.
Wow. Guys, oh my goodness. She just read a snippet from By Her Own Design. We'll be sharing with you in just a little bit how you can get your copy of By Her Own Design as well. And Piper, I want you to share with us, like, what did you enjoy about telling this story?
Well, I don't. I think what I enjoyed the most, if anything, was just trying to bring her across in terms of, like you said, giving her a voice and seeing uh, her work, her contribution be realized. That's
Mm-hmm.
really why I'm in this for what it is that I do. This whole aspect of her being recognized as an artist, her gowns that are left to us are in museums.
Mm-hmm.
Look in your attics. We don't know what might still be out there in terms of this. And I just want to really expand people's notion of the kind of contributions that Black people have made in this country. So just really doing what I had to do. It was not a arduous writing process.
Mm-hmm.
I really loved it. So
I love it. I love it. And
mhm.
Piper, of course, you know you can't leave the cafe without playing a little round of this or that. And of course,
Uh-oh.
you know there is no right or wrong answer. It is all things according to Piper Hughley. Are you ready, my friend?
I'm ready. Yes.
Okay. Now, this one, guys, Piper has been with us on the cafe before, but just in
Mhm.
case, Piper, can you let the people know, plotter or pantser, my friend?
Oh, see both planster.
I love that. I love it. And I'm sure with
Mhm.
research and all that stuff, you got to have some kind of,
Well, that's why it's like I just write around in the story a little bit
uh-huh.
to see what's going on, and then I'll stop doing that, and then I'll
Okay.
plot. And so I'll go back to whatever the history is, if anything like that. But that whole sense, and I had to write about this morning on the fly too. That whole sense of giving history is like a setting. So it's
Mm.
like when I'm in it, I'm stripping away from whatever the modern things are that might be in circumstance or whatever,
Okay.
and that's just what I do. So.
I love it. I look, and you do it very well, my
Oh,
friend.
thank you.
Okay. Is Piper an early bird or a night owl?
See, I used to be an early bird, but this pandemic has turned me into a night owl. I
Okay.
changed.
Audiobook or podcast?
Audiobook.
Okay.
Hmm.
Is Piper headed to the beach or the mountains?
Beach.
Okay, now since it's summertime, oh my goodness, and it's hot. Okay, it's hot. We're gonna leave it
It's
at
hot
that.
this summer.
Flip flops or sandals?
Flip flops.
Okay.
Hmm.
Glass half full or glass half empty?
Oh, glass half empty.
Okay.
Yes.
Now look, you know this one is for the cafe. Are you team tea? Are you team coffee?
Team coffee all the way.
I love that. I love that. Oh my goodness, Piper, the time goes by so fast. I'm so excited that again you accepted the invitation to come hang out with us here on the
Oh, of
cafe.
course.
There will be a giveaway. Piper, can you let us know what the giveaway is going to be on today?
An autographed copy by her own design.
Yay! Oh my goodness. And of
And
course,
a
Piper.
specially commissioned notebook too.
Oh,
So yes, I'll be
yeah,
sending that to
guys,
you.
and the
Mhm,
notebook is gorgeous. I have
mhm.
a copy. I don't have it near me, but it's oh my goodness, I love the notebook that goes with it as
Mhm.
well. And so Piper, of course, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go up and down the comment section, my friend. You're
Okay.
gonna tell me when to stop, and that lovely person will win an autographed copy of By Her Own Design and the notebook. Oh
And the
my
notebook,
goodness,
which is a
and the
moleskin
notebook.
notebook. So you have to put that in there that it was
Yes,
just.
yes. Okay, are you ready, Piper?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's see.
Okay.
I am ready, and whenever you tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay. Myra Rose, you
Oh, there you
are the
go.
winner.
Yay, I'm glad she's
Oh my
interested
goodness. So
because you
Myra,
getting it, girl.
yes, yes. See, your interest was stirred by the title. There you go. You are getting an autographed copy. Oh my goodness. And what I need you to do, Myra, if you will inbox me your mailing address, I will be sure to get that information over to Piper Huguley for you to get your winnings in the mail. So congratulations to you
Congratulations.
as well. Now, Piper, please share with the folks how can they get their hands on a copy of By Her Own Design. And I want to let them know too that also our friend at Riches in Reading, boys and girls, you can definitely, she's an indie bookstore. You can get copies there. And I will also be dropping the link to Riches in Reading bookstore in the comment section as well, in case you want to purchase it and support an indie bookstore. But I will also allow Piper to tell us other places that you can get a copy of By Her Own Design.
Yes, that is right. Riches in Reading is a place to get copies. And the Bookworm in Powder Springs, Georgia, that is another place that is an independent bookstore, Black woman owned, where you can get copies. On the other sort of larger scale, you could go to Barnes and Noble. Walmart apparently is selling them. You can go to Amazon. You can go to Costco. And if you get the Costco connection, there is an article on the Costco connection about me that interviews me about my writing background, etc. So yeah, wherever you go and get it, please do, because I just think about all the copies that are out there and how they have to find with people's hands so I can hopefully continue to write these stories. So I appreciate everybody who buys them, gives them as gifts, passes them along to a friend, and just say if you find yourself in some financial straits, please request it from your local library. Libraries also buy books, which may be
I
something
love
that
that.
people are surprised to hear from an author, but I believe in the libraries very strongly. So
I love it. So, guys,
do
there you
both.
have it. It's available where books are sold. I mean, there's
Mhm.
Costco and Walmart, and there is
The airport.
the
Oh, come on.
airport. Yes. And guys, okay, do me a favor, boys and girls. If you spot it out in the wild, take a picture,
Yes,
post
please.
it, tag Piper Hughley in it. Guys, if you have read it already, make sure you leave a review. I know that Piper Hughley will be so appreciative for that as well.
Yes.
And if you want to see my exclusive review, you can also go to the Heat Seekers magazine. By Her Own Design was our June featured for the cafe, and there is a review in there. You can also go to Amazon, Goodreads, Barnes and Noble. I have a review there as well if you want to see what I had to say about By Her Own Design. But just so you know, boys and girls, it got all 5 cafe stars. Okay.
Which I so
Yes,
appreciate.
I love that. I love it. Now, Piper, please share with us, how can they stay connected with you?
I guess I'm connected on Twitter, where I found the idea, at Piper Huguley, PiperHuguley. Facebook is Piper G. Huguley. Instagram, where I've just been hacked, but I went and reported that, Piper_Huguley. That's the real one. And my blog is piperhuguley.com.
I love that. I love that. And Piper, on your website, is there a newsletter that they can sign up for? Or
Well,
they can just go
there
to your
should
website?
be, but it's in progress.
I love it. Well, go to her website, guys. Of course, you can see By Her Own Design, and you can see any of her other books on her backlist as well. Follow her on social media. But guys, let me just tell you, please, okay? Angela is telling you, like, tag, and share. Tell a friend, guys. Tell everybody to go read By Her Own Design, and be sure to leave a review as well. I know that Piper will be so appreciative of that. Piper, I want to give you the last words that you want to say to the people.
Oh, well, thank you very much for having me, Angela. And as I say, if you're looking for yourself to be entertained or whatever, go buy a book.
I love that. I love it. Well, Piper, thank you so much for hanging out with us here on the cafe. It has been amazing. Boys and girls, you already know what I'm going to say. Have an amazing day, because we're having an amazing day. And until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.